So today I'm going to show you a case of a left main PCI. We have a 65-year-old gentleman who had an anterior wall MI last year and underwent a PTCA to the osteoproximal LAD. 4 months later he developed effluvent angina. A treadmill done was positive 4 months back, and he was advised medical management. However, the pain is persisting at present. It's about class 2, and he came over for another opinion. Now this is what the angiogram shows. There is a distal LAD lesion. I would think it's around 50%, and there is a stent in the proximal LAD with a minor late loss there. There is a ramus coming, which has 90% lesion, and a circumflex that has 90%. There are 2 other small worms in between also that have tight disease. So what we are first planning to do is to find out if that left main to LAD is truly significant. Let's see the next view. Now, that's a trifurcation point. The next view. The LAD otherwise looks quite decent in the mid distal segment. So first what we're going to do is we're going to do an FFR to the LAD to find out if the lesion from the left main to the LAD is significant. Okay, so we have got our FFR wire and we are normalizing. Please normalize. So at this point the transducer is kept right at the ostium, at the mouth of the guiding catheter, and once we have normalized, now we cross in and go inside. Show me the other view. Now we got the wire inside, and the PDPA is 0.92. Now let's measure the IFR at this point. So we check the IFR at present. Let's have it. So IFR is 0.91. Let's start adenosine infusion and do the FFR. Start now. Good. So our IFR was 0.91. That was borderline, and I think 0.89 is what is significant. We consider significant. So we're doing an FFR to find out if it correlates. So the adenosine infusion is on, and it's 47 seconds now. Yeah, so now the FFR is recording, and the FFR has gone to 0.81, 0.77, 0.74, 73. So clearly, I mean, here a case where IFR and FFR do not correlate, and there have been some instances in which we have seen this, especially when the LAD subtends a large territory. It's now at 0.72 steady state. So obviously the left main to LAD is significant. Now based on this, I think we decide what strategy we're going to use. But before that, let's also do an IVUS study of the left main LAD and the circumflex to the left main. So now we have crossed the left main LED with a BMW wire, and now we are crossing into the circumflex and the ramus. At this point, I think we must take care that we do not intertwine the wires a little too much, otherwise we will land up in a problem. We have wired all the 3 vessels with a BMW, and as is usual, what we do is we put different color talkers on the different wires to be sure where we are. So now we've got a blue talker on the circumflex wire and an orange talker on the ramus wire. And we proceed with the intravascular ultrasound. So now we have got our intravascular ultrasound catheter right into the LED, and I'm pushing that just across the stent. Okay, now we are ready to go. So we do a pullback at 1 millimeter per second, and I'm starting the pullback right now. So as you see it coming forward, so now that's LED just distal to the stent, looks pretty decent, about 1, 2, 3 millimeters. Now that's the stent coming in. Decently expanded, and that's we're slowly coming into the trifurcation area. Now that's at 4 o'clock, the circumflex, the left main, pretty large left main, not much of plaque except at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, but as you come more proximal, about 5 millimeter and free of disease. So that is the LED distal to the stent. We have roughly a diameter of around 2.8 millimeters and not much of plaque burden. Now let's come to the ostium of the LED. Right, so this is the ostium of the LED, where you see the ostium LED has got an area of around 3.6 millimeters square, while the diameter of the LED at that point is around about 3.1 millimeters. Stop. Now you come to the left main. Now let us move towards the left main from there. Now that was the ostium of the LED. That's the ramus origin. You can see the wires going into the ramus, and that is the ostium of the LED of the left main coming in. There, that is calcific. Stop. That is calcific and tight. Let's measure the left main here. So that's the measurement at the distal left main. We have a diameter of around 2.2 with a MLA of 3.4 millimeters square, and that's pretty significant. And that is why the FFR was so significant into the LED. Now that's the mid shaft of the left main, and there isn't much of a plaque except between 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and you have MLA of roughly 11 millimeters square, and with a diameter of roughly 4.3. Now this is important because when we are going with a stent from the left main to the LED, we have to check the expansibility of the size of a particular stent. What we're now doing is we have put the intravascular ultrasound into the ramus, and we're going to do a pullback from the ramus. So the pullback starts from the ramus. So we got about 2.5 millimeter ramus, maybe 2.75, and there it's tight stenosis over there as it comes into the left main, and that's a tight left main distally, and mid shaft of the left main. We thought we'll also show you an optical coherence tomography from the LAD to the left main. So now we got the catheter in the LAD from the left main, and it's just, I think, proximal to the stent. So let's calibrate the catheter then, and once the calibration is over, we enable the pullback, right? The pullback. You see. Good. So that's the OCT that's running distally from the stent. You can see the stent with a little bit of neointimal proliferation over there. And as the stent comes, as you come proximally, please stop there. Now let's move slowly as we go towards the left main. That's an area that's uncovered in the ostial LAD. There's no stent over there, very clearly seen. Come proximal, and that is the ramus over there, the wire coming in from the ramus. And as you come more proximally, the next wire coming in from the circumflex with a tight ostial stenosis. And stop there. That's the ostium of the distal part of the left main. Significant calcium with what looks like a more or less like a calcific nodule that is jutting in at that point. Let's move more proximally. The little calcification in the distal left main, but otherwise more or less a mixed plaque. Fibrosis there, and as you come more proximally, there. That's stop there. Now let's get the diameter at this point of the left main. The mean diameter is around 3.6 to 5. The mean is around 4.4. So we got to probably reach up to 4.5. Now let's go to the LAD. LAD, yes. Okay, let's stop there and let us get the measurement over here. The diameter is around 2.64, but actually if you try the EEM to EEM, let's have a length measurement over there. So this is in the proximal LAD, and though you have a lumen area of 4.8 millimeter square with the OCT telling an automated diameter of lumen, show me the lumen diameter there, of around mean of 2.46. If you actually take the EEM to EEM area length, it's probably roughly around 3.3. So I think that's important to decide on which stent should actually go in.
Because since we have to...
Now, having had the measurements, what would the strategy be? What we thought was we will go and do a crossover stenting from the left main to the LAD. And once we do that and do a pot, then we'll recross into the ramus and circumflex and do tap stenting.
A double tap.
A double tap. And then subsequently come out and kiss. Now the issue is the stent that you're going to put from the LAD to the left main. The left main, as we measured, comes to roughly around 4.5. So if there's a stent that must take that, like for example a Zymes 3.5 would go up to 4.5, 4.7 very easily. And I think it can be taken up to 5.1, but again I think there you would get much more plaque prolapse. So we will first pre-dilate and the LAD left main, and then subsequently go and stent that. So this is a 3 millimeter NC balloon, and we are going to dilate the left main into the LAD. We have gone up to 14 atmospheres. Down. There's calcium there, but seems to be yielding pretty easily. This is what we get post dilatation of the left main, and now we're going to do a crossover stenting from the left main into the LED. So now we have positioned the 3.533 stent, and let's just check the position. That seems to be quite acceptable. I think distally it is just crossing the pre-existing stent. Or I think we should move it a little distally. So we moved it a little more distally, and I think this may be a little more optimal position. Right, let's go up. That's 10. That's enough. We just go at 10 so that we do not dissect distally, and then we will dilate the mid and the proximal and do a pot before we cross. So after deployment of the stent from the left main into the LED, this is the angio. I think we will post dilate the LED with a 3.5 and do a pot with a 4. So that's post dilatation with a 3.5, the LED down. So now we are dilating the trifurcation. Go. That's 24,
24, 28.
down. Now we'll take a 4 and do a pot. We are going to do a pot. So when we do a pot, it's important to notice that the distal marker of the balloon will be just at the trifurcation go up, and so that we just open the strut onto the ramus and the circumflex.
20.
It's 20. Stop. Down. Then the stent proximally too, and now I pull the balloon a little proximally, and I post dilate there also.
20.
20 with 4. That should be sufficient. Good. Stop. Down. So now, post dilatation, this is a check angio, and that's pretty good from the left main into the LED. Now that we have done a pot, now we will try and recross both into the ramus and circumflex, and subsequently dilate both.
Okay, so I'm going to take this circle chain out, chain circle.
Now what we have done is we have recrossed both the ramus and the circumflex.
You want to DC?
And now we will give you an OCT to find out from which strut we have exactly gone inside before we do a double tap. Now we have got our OCT catheter distal to the stent, and we are going to give you an OCT run at that point. So let's go to the live view. We are doing a high resolution 54mm pullback. Let's calibrate the catheter. So calibration is done, and we're going to do the enable pullback right now. DCM. That's a good run. Let's analyze it. That's distal to the stent, and now that's a stent coming in. No dissection distally. The stent is well apposed. A little bit of a plaque prolapse that you can see at the 12 o'clock area. Now as you're coming closer to the trifurcation, that you come to the LM, that's the first wire coming in. Right, let's move slowly. First wire coming in, and then as you come more proximally, we see that second wire there coming in. That is from the circumflex. And let's move to the left main. Stent struts are seen. they are well opposed over there, no malapposition. You see both the wires are right within the lumen. And let's go more proximally. Play. They are a little malposition there, very proximally, so we may have to go with a 4.5 over there, and otherwise it's pretty good. I think it's very important that when we are doing tap over here, that we go and wire the distal strut. But however, in this, it's going to be difficult for us to say which is the distal strut, because we have got a single vessel from where the ramus starts in. So it's more than a ramus, it looks like a truly early OM to me. Right, so now what we have done is we have recrossed the circumflex and the ramus intermedius, and we have got a 2.5 balloon across the circ, 2.5 across the ramus, and we got a 3 from the left main to LAD. So we thought we're going to go for a trifurcation kiss before we put the stents inside. So first let us open the circumflex ostium. Circumflex ostium open, go to 10 atmospheres. 10, let's open the 10. Down. Let's open the ramus. That we go to 10, 12, 14. Down. Right. And now we will go for a trifurcation kiss. 4, 6, 8,
10, 12.
Go up to 16, 18, both of you.
18, 16, 18.
Down. Down. Now let's just check our image there. That looks good. So now that we have done a trifurcation kiss, we'll go and do a double tap to the ramus and the circumflex. What do you think should the sizes of the stent be?
It should be a 2.5 into 15 into the ramus, and a 2.5 into perhaps a 28 into the circumflex. 2.75.
2.75. I think I would agree with that. We are trying to put a circumflex stent there, and the circumflex stent goes into the circumflex. Right. So now that's the ramus stent coming inside, and right, so good. The ramus also goes in there. Good.
Okay.
Now we have positioned both the stents into the ramus and the circumflex, and we are just with a little protrusion into the left main. Would that be alright, or would you want a little bit circ inside?
Okay, one more.
Okay. We'll take one more strut of the circumflex inside,
and
one more strut to the ramus here.
And one more view.
Right. Let's have another view, please. Let's have another view. The RAO caudal view would be good. Good. So,
Yes.
I think we are too much.
We are too much for this ramus.
Into the ramus. Now we have checked in 2 views, and we think we are the right position. So I think we go for a stent boost before we go and deploy it. That's the stent boost of the stents in the ramus and the circumflex, and I think we have got just a minimal protrusion because these are the Zine stents, and the struts come right up to the mid part of the marker. Right, okay. So now we're going to go and deploy these 2.
4, 6, 8, 10,
12.
12. Okay, 12.
I think let's just hold on there before we pull it back. Down. Down.
Standing in it.
We'll just do a shoot to check that we do not have a distal dissection before we go and pull both these balloons into the left main to do a kiss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So now we removed all the 3 balloons. We're given nitroglycerin. We just want to see what's happened to the distal circumflex, and that's good. So that's just a
little bit out.
it's just a so that's the circumflex. So now we will give you another view. We will go to the spider view and do a shoot there.
Wow.
I think it looks good.
4.5.
So now we go for a pot to the LAD, and once we do the pot to the LAD, we will give you a final OCT to see how the trifurcation looks. Now we are going with a 4.5 into the LAD and into the left main. I'm sorry, not the LAD. And we will do a pot there. So yeah, that's the to come there. Now we will keep the distal part of the balloon just proximal to the carina, and that's essential.
Going up.
6,
It is
8,
10, 12, 14, 16.
16.
One more.
16 is enough.
16, okay. Going down.
Down.
No, sit again.
Now we will do an OCT run and come back to you with an OCT run. Now that we've done the final pot, I'll give you the last angio. That's decent. Good. So now that's the last OCT run, and if you see, that's within the proximal part of the LAD, and as you slowly come into this trifurcation area, we see some pus over there, and that's the trifurcation point. The 2 wires coming, left main, the stent seam well opposed, and the LM stent seems fine. There seems to be some thrombus at the trifurcation point. That's the LAD over here. I think the lumen area is roughly around 8.9, and that's thrombus that can be visualized. This is the trifurcation. There is no stent strut abutting the trifurcation point. That's the second wire coming in, and the left main is fine. The last ACT I think was checked, and it was around about 360, but I think we will change him to ticagrelor because he was on clopidogrel.
This is the last injection. After taking the wires out, you see a well-formed carina with a well-deployed stent in the left main. There is a little bit of haziness at the circumflex and ramus area. This, which we have shown in the OCT also, there is a little bit of thrombus. We have tackled it with tyrofeban, and patient's antiplatelet therapy has been changed over to Brilinda. The last ACT run right away is 284, and we will be continuing the tyrofeban for next 24 hours.
Thank you for joining us for this case. Yes, so now this is 24 hours later, and we thought we'll just do a re-angio and check if the thrombus that was there in the ostial LAD is still there, and we just did another OCT run. Right, so now that's the OCT run, and we'll run it at a slow speed so that we can have a good look at it. And if you look, this is the proximal LAD, this is the carina, and this is the left main on the L view. And if you move with, now slowly as you come proximally, see a well opposed stent over there, and now we are coming close to the trifurcation. That's the carina, this is the ramus, the stent strut over there, forming the neocarina, and as you come proximally, we find that is again the second neocarina of the circumflex. Come a little more proximally, a little thrombus right at the ostium of circumflex, and then that's the left main, stent well opposed, no malopposition in the left main.